All right, Jesse is back. It's a Friday. I've been playing Darkest Dungeon 2. It's a good game. It's a fun game. Thought what I would do is share some notes about it. While I'm sharing notes, I'm gonna play a little gameplay footage. 2x speed. Let's do some good parts about the game here. Art. I think the art is really interesting. And the sound art slash audio. I think it's very interesting. I think it's kind of cool. It's neat. Build design, I would say, like, you know, build slash character design. I would say is pretty rock solid. Pretty great. Pretty fun. Updated progression system is a lot better than it was. So if you've been waiting to enter the Darkest Dungeon 2 space, I think the changes that they've made recently are a little more beginner friendly, sort of. At the very least, you feel like even when you lose a run, you get something out of it. So this is good. The good. The bad. Alright. Slow pace. So, it's funny that this video is going in 2x speed because, you know, I wish the game was this fast. When you compare it to other games in the genre, specifically like games that are run-based, where Slay the Spire is an example that I think of. And I don't generally play roguelikes. I'm not an expert on this, so all this is coming from my opinion, but the game right now is really slow. Turn-based 4-on-4 combat can drag. It can just drag. You don't have the randomness of cards that you draw every turn, and you don't have the depth of decision making that I think maybe you would need in order for the game to be this slow. The reality is that this game is basically just a 4-on-4 battler, and it's kind of like a combat, you know, player power battler progression where you try to get as far as you can, but those battles, battle after battle after battle, including the animation speed, including the coin flips, and I'm actually going to put RNG. We'll talk about that next. It's it's just a little bit of a slow game. Now, I don't think that this is nearly as bad as it is in XCOM. My XCOM video, basically, I just thought the game was too slow for the, you know, dopamine, endorphin rush that you're supposed to be getting from something you enjoy. It's way too slow. And there's not enough depth within the slowness. I think there are other games that are slow, namely games that I don't play, like story-based games, a lot of console games, where you feel so attached to the story, every cinematic is so impactful. This is a run-based game, so basically you are running over the same ground hundreds and hundreds of times. You watch the same animation hundreds of times. You watch the same enemies cast the same ability on you hundreds of times. And there are other games that are like little battlers, like Pokemon or something, where you actually have the ability to disable combat animations. You have the ability to speed up the game in some respects, speed up the text, speed up whatever. In this game, none of those options have been put in place yet. And I don't know, you know, based on some of what I'm reading from the feedback on the Discord and the way that they're designing it, I'm not actually sure if they're going to put those things in or not. I think that it would really, really limit the replay value and the replayability of this game if they didn't speed up the pace. I really like this game. I really like it. It really, I mean, I feel like I gotta say, like, it's just really interesting, deep, interesting mechanics. It's just it's a good game. It really is a good game. There's so much about it that's really interesting. This is the map here, that you're progressing along a map, and it's very, if you know Slay the Spire, it's very similar where you do have some decisions there, but ultimately you follow a path, and it's, you don't have a ton of decisions, but you have some decision there. But the pace is really, I mean, to me, it's going to hurt at least my replay value. I think I'm going to switch back to some other games until they make more updates. I like this update. I just don't feel compelled to do run after run after run at the moment. And I haven't even got to the point that some of the players have where they've unlocked all the characters, all the abilities, all of the stats and stuff that you get from this new hope mechanic. I haven't done any of that yet. I'm really just speaking from, someone who has played a fair bit of games where the replayability is enticing and intoxicating, and you're willing to do the same activity over and over and over again because of how much you enjoy the game and because of the randomness. So I'll put RNG good and bad, but so one of the things that's interesting about a roguelike of this nature is that, similar to other games and other communities, there is some I don't want to say entitlement, but there is some sense of boasting and confidence for the game's difficulty, where I think from a developer standpoint, like, the harder the game is, it's kind of like a dick measuring contest of like, oh, this game is so punishing, and oh wow, you can just get super unlucky. And I think it works in a game like Slay the Spire, where you are just burning through that run. You're like, there is no waiting. But in a game like this, where there is a lot of waiting, where any given combat, just based on your build and based on what characters you're using, it could take like 7 or 8 minutes just to kill a basic road battle. And then you got to do that like a dozen times. Some of these runs, if you really want to dedicate the time to it, take really, be really careful with your decision making, really thoughtful about how you're building, what trinkets you're using, what combat items you're equipping, which honestly, that's all an interesting part of the game. The depth is there, and it's interesting. There's so much room and there's so much space for potential there. But at how often you find yourself stuck in a repeating loop where you're like, okay, I'm ready I'm ready for my decisions to actually mean something, I think is not in a great place right now. There have been observations that some of this has to do with the driving. You're driving a cart, and some people have made complaints about that, and I think I kind of agree there. I think there's... I mean, obviously in Slay the Spire, you don't have that. You just click and the next battle starts. And I'm almost thinking that that would be better in this kind of thing, but I'm not entirely sure. It's not my game. And the RNG factor is so interesting too, because in every game that is roguelike with extremely high difficulty, there are going to be elements of coin flip. And some of that is a good thing. You want, in order for a run to be interesting, in the same way that people were speed running the Diablo franchise, you want there to be a chance of something really good happening or really bad happening. But the way that this manifests in a game like this is just coin flips. There are situations where you just have a 60-40 or a 50-50 or a 70-30, where if it goes your way, your party is doing great, and if it doesn't go your way several times in a row, then you just brick a run, and you don't feel like your decisions matter. And so, in a combination of your decision is not impactful, and also you're having to wait through dozens and dozens of the same animations, that's when it kind of grates on the player enjoyment. And I want to keep playing this. I mean, I just finished a run, and I decided to end the expedition early because I'd lost too many expeditions and felt like I lost so many of my hope candles. I ended the expedition early, and I'm like, oh, I feel the pull. I'm like, all right, this run I'm going to do something a little different, make slightly better choices, and hopefully get better luck. But I don't want to commit the 2 hours or the hour and a half or the hour. That's a chunky meat of time, and where what percentage of that time am I really having fun engaging with the combat and engaging with the mechanics versus how much of that time I'm double hitting W, watching my cart roll, tabbing out, doing something else. And there are other games that deal with this, but right now I think that's the big struggle for me in Darkest Dungeons 2. So I love this game. I think it has a lot of, space to improve. I'm really excited to see how it progresses. But right now, if you're on the fence about it, I would say wait. I think for me, I'm going to set this aside, and I think I'll pick it back up later. But I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, that's it for the video. See you later.